Hey, what's going on everybody? Timeister here, and the Economy 2.0 patch has finally launched for City Skylines 2. I'm a bit late to the party as I'm only booting up the game a couple of days after the patch has been released, but I'm really excited to dive into it and to see what is going to happen to Bixton over the course of this episode, possibly into the next number of episodes, as in the patch notes, which are about 1.5 miles long by the way, it explains that as you load an old city into the Economy 2.0 patch, it may take some time for things to take effect and for things to change in your city. So I booted into Bixton. I've been snooping around here for the last 5 minutes or so, and I haven't noticed any big changes yet. But like I said, it's outlined somewhere in the patch notes. It says that things will take time to balance out as your citizens move around and are relocated and all that sort of thing. So the biggest difference that I'm noticing right off the bat though is that there's been a sudden influx in traffic, which is kind of ironic because I just finished a traffic video for my last Bixton episode, and things are, geez, I would say they're even worse than they were at the end of last episode. Look at this here. The main arterial highway going right into downtown Bixton is just as clogged as it ever was. But my theory is what happens in the new patch is a lot of your citizens' priorities, the way that they are simulated, changed a lot. For instance, now your citizens will actually prioritize their rent before anything else, meaning that we shouldn't have these random single students that are living in expensive single-family homes on the edge of town. Those citizens should move out of these single-family homes, those single students, and they should move into some more appropriate housing, such as, some low-rent housing or some bigger apartment complexes, which, of course, are going to be a lot cheaper for them to rent. But a side effect of that is there's going to be a huge influx of traffic from those people who are relocating to more suitable locations. So of course over here we got quite an accident going on as a result of there being more traffic, I think. Oh my god, we got a bus flipped off on its side here. Things are not looking so good over here. And there's also a big traffic jam I noticed on this highway here. So I think as everybody is moving to new homes, new jobs, it's just creating a bunch of mayhem on our highways. Oh my god, this traffic is terrible, guys. Look at this, everything is at a standstill. This is crazy. Well, we'll just have to wait this out, I think. Eventually, I think traffic is going to die down as everybody gets relocated. And hopefully it's over sooner rather than later. So yeah, as far as... Oh, there it is, guys. There's a death wave. There it goes. So that's another thing that the patch notes included was your city may experience a death wave as all of your older citizens are going to die, essentially, which is going to rebalance your population demographics. I wish I took a look at this graph before this death wave just happened. I'm sure that our senior percentage went down a couple ticks. But yeah, it's noted somewhere there in the patch notes that a death wave could occur in an old city of yours. So, oi, this is certainly not going to help our traffic situation. Yeah, this might be bad, guys. I don't know. Our cemeteries are going to be pretty busy. Oh my god, this one's already half full. All 15 hearses are in use. That's to be expected. And I think I have another cemetery somewhere here in Auburn. Where is it? Yeah, right here in downtown. This one has a lot more room. But yeah, you can see here that all the hearses are out and about. It seems like all of my older citizens were concentrated to downtown Bixton. There's hardly any deaths, in other parts of the city. So I guess this is kind of a good thing, in a sense. It could be worse. I think this is not too bad. So I guess the only thing that we can really do in this case is to let things play out. So as we do that, let's take a quick gander at our economy window and we'll see what kind of changes are going on over here. So right off the bat, I'm noticing that there has already been a huge uptick in expenses. And the first thing that may stand out to you is we now have this new tile upkeep expense. And essentially what this is, super simple. The more tiles that you purchase in your city, the more this is going to cost you. So this is just the upkeep cost for that land that you're paying for. So I kind of like this. This is another element of challenge that we can expect in the game now, which is really exciting. So other than that, I mean, I can already see that the service upkeep costs are a little bit higher. I'm still making money hand over fist. I'm still making over $1 million an hour. I have 1.5 billion in the bank, so we're still doing all right. But I think as things balance out, we're going to either see an increase in expenses or a dramatic decrease in tax revenue, which, you know, may bring the two expenses and revenues quite close to each other. So I'm curious to see how that shapes up in the next little bit. So yeah, that's for the budget window. Loans, I don't think there's been many changes here. Taxation, nothing has really changed as far as how it works, except the tax rates that you set on particular products has a more dramatic effect on how those products are imported into your city, or how businesses are going to set up for certain things. So for example, if I check in my production window, let's go into material goods. So yeah, right now I have a massive deficit in convenience food. So this is costing my city a ton of money, as businesses are having to import a lot of materials, thus cutting into their profits, which means less tax revenue for the city. So the solution to this would be to go into my commercial tax rates here and decrease the tax rates. And actually, at this point, going into the negative might be a good thing, as it's going to incentivize convenience food businesses to set up shop in my city. Actually, I might be doing the wrong thing here. I may want to decrease taxes in the industrial sector for convenience food, meaning that convenience food is going to be produced and then sold in the city. So really, that's what we want to do. We want to go to the very top of the food chain here and produce a ton of convenience food. So it's going to cost me a little bit of money up front, but like I said, it's going to incentivize a lot of businesses to set up shop in my city, which is going to hopefully dramatically reduce our dependence on other cities to import all these goods. So it seems that we're importing a lot of things here in the city. I'm not... I don't have many surpluses of anything. So we're probably going to want to address that. Oh yeah. Look at that, guys. Whew. Yeah, things are changing for sure. These are pretty dramatic changes. So how much am I making now? I'm making still, you know, 275,000 an hour. So I mean, that right there has a huge difference from the 1 point whatever million I was making per hour. So at the end of the month, we're still, you know, 6 million in the positive, which is good, but you know, we're nowhere near where we were before. And this is pretty exciting, guys. I really like this because it's going to bring another element of challenge into the city. Oh Lord, wow. Okay, so it looks like the death wave has gotten worse. It's spread its way all the way into Auburn now. And it seems to be mostly concentrated to the older developments of town, which makes sense, right? I mean, if I check my demographics again, let's see here, population. So we can see that, I guess if we just, let's take off the population density here so you can get a better look. So the closer we are to red, the older the population. And you can see that the downtown cores of both cities are relatively old. Makes sense, right? I mean, they're just older parts of the city with older populations. Same thing over here in Quincy Harbor. All of the older citizens tend to be concentrated closer to downtown. All of the younger folk tend to be out in the burbs. So yeah, this kind of makes sense. So this is a pretty big transition that we're going through. But I feel like I'm set up well, guys. We were making money hand over fist before this patch, and if that wasn't the case, I'd be in deep doo-doo right now. I mean, not really, because I have so much money in my capital reserve, but still, like, at least I'm still making money so far. I don't know, things may change. There might be another big uptick in expenses, but things are looking not too shabby. There's also going to be a lot of demand changes in this patch. So as your citizens are redistributed through your city, of course, older citizens are going to prefer, you know, these single family homes. So no longer are we going to see these random single students living out in the suburbs by themselves. So that's a really welcome change. What else is there in here? Hang on, I'm going to open the patch notes here and just browse through them for a sec, because I can't remember everything that was in the notes. That's how much new stuff there is. It's crazy. There has been a ton of bug fixes. Oh, that's another thing too. So we probably, I didn't really notice, but we're probably making a bit less tax revenue as citizens that are coming from outside of the city who are working in Bixton are no longer paying taxes. So they used to be paying taxes, which didn't really make much sense, right? Because they didn't live in the city. But now they don't. So we probably saw a little bit of a tax revenue decrease as a result of that. So essentially, the main takeaway from this patch is everything that cost money now costs more money in this new patch. And holy boys, this death wave is getting quite a bit worse, guys. This is certainly not going to go away very quickly, I'm thinking, due to the traffic situation in the city right now. Oh, what is going on over here? We're dealing with weather damage. Oh, okay, so there must have been like a windstorm or something here. Not really too concerned about that. Weather doesn't really seem to be a concern in this patch. Yeah, well, let's take a look here. What are things that we can do to improve the situation? Really, it's explained in the patch notes that the best way forward when you're dealing with a transition from the old version of the game to the new one is just to wait it out, essentially. Things are going to get cleared. This death wave is going to go away, and there's measures in place in the game to make it so there shouldn't be any future death waves. You know, it's not like in City Skylines 1 where everybody moving into your city is around the same age. The game distributes the population a bit better now. So we shouldn't see these massive death waves anymore. But yeah, man, this traffic situation is pretty dire. Let's see how we're doing here. Oh my god, guys. All of the areas that I worked on in the last episode are just clogged up again. They're just as bad as they were before this patch. But you know what? I'm chalking it up to people are just moving around. People are moving to new houses. They're getting their lives all set up in this new Economy 2.0 patch. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm hoping things are going to clear up in the next little bit. But the thing is, the simulation speed is bogged down to a crawl as I'm sitting here just shy of 200,000 people at this point. So I may have to actually leave the game running overnight, and I'll see how things look in the morning. I might actually do that to give you guys a glimpse of what can happen to your city. So yeah, I guess you can take this video, guys, and look at it as a good example of what may happen to a medium to large scale city that you may have been working on prior to this patch. So it's interesting. Lots of changes going on. Our demand is off the charts right now. Let's see what is going on here. What is driving this demand? So yeah, everybody seems to be pretty happy. The only thing that a lot of people are complaining about is taxes, which at this point, I don't think I'm going to be able to lower that much. I could have afforded to lower them before, but not anymore. So let's take a look here. Let's try to balance out our economy a bit more. Now, as far as production goes, a lot of the deficits that I'm facing can easily be fixed by lowering taxes for particular products. So textiles here, if I lower my taxes for textile industry, you know, more and more businesses are going to set up shop, like I was explaining earlier. But then there's other things like petrochemicals. I'm importing pretty much everything. I do have quite a bit of production though at 122 tons a month. So the best thing to do to really get your economy rolling again would be to just heavily invest into specialized industry. Maybe a better solution is, instead of going after like these huge deficits, go after the smaller ones, you know, chemicals, plastics in my case, vehicles. Actually, I have a vehicle production plant, I think, in the city that I plopped down near the airport, if I remember correctly. Maybe I didn't plop it. Let's take a look here. Vehicle factory. Oh, no, I don't yet. Okay, well, this may be able to offset a lot of our deficits here for vehicles. So all I need is 3 more oil drilling hub buildings. Do I even have any more oil fields that I can build on? Where am I going here? Zones. Let's do oil drilling. Oh, okay, yeah. So we've got a untapped oil field over here. We potentially have another one over here, which nope, I think this one's outside of the city limits. And wow, that's it, guys. That's all we have for oil production. We really don't have that much. Although I shouldn't say that. We have a huge one here under the rail yard, but we're not gonna get rid of that. Okay, well, I know what I'm gonna be working on this episode then. Let's buy some more tiles, which in this case is going to be a good investment. Oh, is it going to tell me how much it's going to cost? Tile upkeep, 750,000 a month for these 6 tiles. Wow, that is massive, guys. That is going to force us to be a little more careful when we make these big decisions, even for a city this size. I've gotten used to Bixton just doing fine on its own. You know, just kind of letting the economy balance itself out, but we're gonna have to be a bit more careful on what we do, which is really, really fun. Uh-oh, it looks like I'm gonna have to purchase a couple more tiles here because there's no way into this oil field, so I'm gonna purchase these 2. And then let's just take a look here. I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, so our oil field is here. Let's extend this 4-lane road. Let's just keep it going straight here. Yeah, I'm just gonna run it straight across like that, and then I'm going to have a small 2-lane road that is going to wind itself around this lake. And then along this road, there'll be all sorts of nice houses and whatnot, but it will also serve as the main entrance for this oil field over here. I'm just going to use some small alley roads. And I'm going to skirt the borders of this oil field. And it actually looks like we have some more over here, but I think for now I may just... I'll get this one done, and then I'll buy some more tiles here in a sec. So let's go here into specialized industry, oil drilling, and then hopefully we can get some decent production going in here. There, so I forget how big our deficit was as far as oil production, but I mean just this one field is going to produce 845 tons. Oh no, that's the harvestable resources, so I don't know how much it's going to make per month. But we did have access to 845 tons. Is there a way that we can see what kind of production an individual lot is making? Yeah, it'd be cool if we could see some more values. I know there's mods for that, and I might actually look into installing some. Because I know there's mods out there that'll show you how much your citizens are paying in rent and how much they're paying in all of their expenses, basically. So, I mean, that could be really useful information. There, so we're going to skirt the outside of this area. Boom, just like that. You know what? Might as well go all in, guys. I'm gonna purchase a couple more tiles here. Maybe these two to start off with. I'm not quite sure how far the oil production goes. Okay, yeah, that should be good. And I kind of want to do the same thing here. Just want to skirt the border of this oil production. Just like so. And I think we can almost, well, we can just about cover everything with this one plant here. And boom, there we go. I totally forgot we were aiming for this vehicle factory. Okay, well, this is going to help us out surely. So let me just finish up my zone here. Let's get this all laid out. Looks like we might even can place a couple more oil field main buildings, because we still have some harvestable land just outside of these borders here. But I think for now, should be good with this. So in placing these extra oil fields, let's just take a look how less reliant we are on other cities to import some petrochemicals. I forgot to take a look at what kind of values we had before, but I'm sure there's probably been a little bit of a downtick and an uptick in production, or maybe not. Maybe it has to take some time. You know, it has to have been at least a month, I think, for us to get the real value of what's going on here. But anyways, until we get our new production values, let's go into our specialized buildings and plop down our brand new vehicle factory, which, what does this do? It increases our industrial efficiency citywide by 2%, and we gain 10% oil deposit citywide, which is huge, actually. So let's see here. Where am I going to plop this production facility? I think near the airport would be a good idea. Or perhaps... It's quite a massive building. Alright guys, I think I've chosen a suitable location here, just on the very outskirts of town. I've got a nice flat piece of land here, tons of room. I'm just gonna have to relocate these power lines quickly. So I'm gonna get these out of the way. Oh, what's going on under here? Oh, we got some underground power lines as well. Well, let's get rid of these. And then let's go underground. And I'll just follow the side of the highway up until here. And then let's go back above ground. And connect this all up just like this. It's probably going to move again at some point, but this works for now. Okay, so I think over here near this highway exit in this location, I think should be pretty cool, especially if the plant is viewable right from the highway like this. That would be pretty cool. Now let's see here. If I put actually, I'll carry on this 4-lane road in this direction, parallel to our power lines. I'm gonna make a perpendicular 4-lane road to probably about over here, and then I might make another interchange over here. Probably a good opportunity to do that. And now I'm going to plop my large facility. There. Because this is kind of a unique building, well, it is a unique building, I want to make it nice. Instead of just plopping it up against a road, Oops. Ooh, it looks like I'm a little too close to the highway here. Let's push that back a couple blocks. There we go. I think I put it a little too far. Here, let me fix this up, guys. I want to plop this right about here, I think. And then I will connect this up. Actually, you know what? I could probably just do this and then convert this into a proper 2-lane road. There we go. And there we have it. We now have a vehicle production facility, which employs 363 people. Most jobs are well educated, which is awesome. And for this building to function, we need metals and plastics. I know we have a fair bit of metal production in the city. I'm not really sure about plastics, but again, we can take a look at our production window here and we can see exactly what goes into this building. So this is minerals. Do we have metals? Oh wow, we have a 0 deficit. So we're actually producing more than enough metals to supply this entire map. We're actually exporting 109 tons a month of metal. So that's pretty exciting to see. Yeah, petrochemicals hasn't moved yet, but I don't think it's been a month since we laid down those new extractor buildings. So it's gonna take a little bit of time, guys, before we really see the effects of our changes here, especially with the simulation being so slow. It's gonna take a bit of time. So yeah, I guess this was just an example. Oh, here it is, plastics. Oh yeah, we're having to import some. But yeah, this is an example, guys, of, you know, what kind of changes that you can see in your city, potentially, if it's an old city that you were working on prior to this new patch. So I guess what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through all of these material goods here, I think, and I'm going to see if I can lower taxes for some of them. I got to be very careful, though, because I don't want to reduce my taxes too much to, you know, face a deficit. But at the same time, you know, I'm just drowning in money, so I can face a deficit for a little bit. It's really going to be a long-term investment. You know, chemicals. Let's go into taxation, industries. Let's reduce taxes on chemicals. You know, I'm just gonna set this down to like 2% maybe. And I know pharmaceuticals was in there as well, I believe. It'd be cool if we could have like 2 windows side by side. That would help out a little bit. Chemicals, plastics. So we need plastics for quite a bit of things in our map here. So I'm gonna go back into industrial and we are going to reduce taxes for plastics. Plastics wasn't really a massive money maker, so I'm just going to set this to like 1%. So yeah, we're gonna go one by one here, see what we can do. Pharmaceuticals, that's kind of a bigger deficit. I might ignore that one for now. Vehicles, you know what? We have our brand new vehicle production facility. I'm not gonna touch this because we're going to make vehicles right on this map, and I'm curious to see how this is gonna affect our production. So it might wipe out our deficit altogether. We might even start to export vehicles, which would be a massive moneymaker. Let's see, what else here? Production. We also have paper, 1,300 tons a month. We're only making 234 tons though. And is there any buildings that produce paper? Is this like a regular industrial? Because I know there's like a paper mill that we can place down as a specialty building, but I don't know. No, it looks like, oh yeah, paper right here. Let's reduce our taxes on paper to 2%. There, so I'll just go after the low-hanging fruit for this episode, guys. You know, like I said, I think there's some of these deficits that we're just never going to clear. Like, you know, we're never going to produce enough convenience food to supply this entire map. Although I did reduce taxes, so I think it's going to shrink in size a little bit. But yeah, there we go. Oh my god. Okay, well, this death wave is far worse than I was expecting. Wow, guys, this is incredible. Whew. Let's take a look here. I'm just curious. Healthcare and death care. So we're dealing with 1,649 deaths this month, and we only have the capacity to handle not even a third of that. So things are going to get pretty wild here for the next little bit. Thankfully, we have enough cemetery availability to fit all of these people and then some, so I'm not too concerned about that. I think it would be a fantastic idea to put maybe a couple more crematoriums dotted around the map. Can I see where there are any crematoriums? I usually put some beside my cemetery, so I've got one over here in downtown Auburn. I have one here in downtown Bixton, and I have one here. Or do I have two here? Yeah, I just have one here in Quincy Harbor. So I'm going to plop another one in Quincy Harbor. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of park real estate, the park that I've never got into. And I'm going to plop one right over here. You know, it looks pretty historical, so it looks nice within this park space. I'm going to have to get to that at some point. Let's plop another crematorium on the outskirts of town over here. We got plenty of room. So I'm going to put one right over here. Why not? And then let's put one more. I guess I'll just plot one near the highway right here. There. So are there any upgrades that we can do to this building? Yes, there is. So we're going to want every upgrade that we can for most of these buildings. So processing capability, capacity, 50 a month. More spaces for hearses. You know what? Let's just go all in, guys. Let's plop all of the upgrades. What is this? Refrigeration expansion, extended cold storage allows storing more deceased citizens before cremation. No, I don't. Again, I have to be mindful not to spend too much money here, because the gap between our expenses and our revenues is becoming smaller. But let me just go over all of our existing buildings here. Crematorium, I have 0 upgrades on this one, so I'm just gonna fully upgrade this one as well. Sacrifice a couple buildings in the back here. And then the one in downtown, I think this one, yeah, this one's fully upgraded. Although we have no car access, so it might not be functioning. Let's relocate it. Oh yeah, that's right, guys. We can relocate this building to wherever we want, really. Well, you know what? I am just going to place it right against the road here, so this building will be functional at last. So this building will give us 5 extra hearses to go out and about and collect all the dead people. I think, where was... Oh yeah, I plopped one in the park here. So I'll put this one here, and can I take off snapping? Oh yeah, look at that. And now I can put this extension right beside our crematorium. Just like so. And then I think I had another crematorium somewhere. Oh yeah, right over here. Yeah, I'm gonna put this one right beside it. There we go. Gonna sacrifice a couple buildings. No big deal. There, so I know it's probably not gonna help that much, you know, just placing a couple new crematoriums, whoop-de-doo. but everything helps. And at this point, it's just a waiting game. So at this point, guys, I think I've given you a fair overview of the patch notes. I'm going to put the link down in the description so you can read through them yourself and get a better understanding of like all the specifics, because if I was to go through every single item, this video would be like 2 hours long. But anyways, this was more to show you what you should expect as you transition your city into this new Economy 2.0 patch. So I'm going to skip ahead. I'm literally going to leave my game running overnight because I'm about to go to bed here in a sec. And we'll see what the city looks like when I wake up in the morning. So we'll see. Maybe it'll skip over the winter as well. You know, we're heading into October in in-game time. And I'm not really a big fan of the winters in this game that much. I mean, a little winter is fine, but winter is like 6 months on this map, which is far too long. So I don't know, maybe it'll be into like April when I get back tomorrow. So we'll see, guys, and I'll catch you in just a moment. Well, guys, it is 8 hours later. I literally left my game running overnight, which may have been a little overkill, because look at my population down here. We're sitting just shy of 300,000 people. I don't know how this happened. It must be something to do with the population redistribution. But you can see here my population demographics. Yeah, I don't know how. We just gained 100,000 people, which is crazy. So we're now in January, so we're about 3 or 4 months later than when I went to bed. How there's no snow on the ground, I have no idea. It is -10. There's just no snow anywhere, but I'm cool with that. We're gonna roll with it. But anyways, as a result of this massive population influx, we're now dealing with a power shortage. You can see that there's rolling blackouts all over the city. So of course we're gonna want to address this as soon as possible before people start to pack up and move away, which I wouldn't blame them for doing so at this point. So you can see here that we're consuming 631 megawatts and we're only producing 558. But on top of that, I'm importing 160 extra megawatts per month, which is costing us a ton of money. Let's take a look here at the economic situation. Let's go into services, electricity. Look at this. Our 160 megawatts that we're importing is costing us 1.6 million. So per megawatt, I think, would it cost us, is it costing us 10,000 per megawatt? I don't know. I don't excel in math, but somebody wants to calculate that and post it down in the comments to let me know. It might be useful for other folks, but nonetheless, with the power we're importing, it's costing us a ton of money. So we definitely want to offset that, and I think the best solution in this case is going to be to plop a new power plant somewhere in town. Now, of course, a small coal power plant's not going to cut it. It only produces 20 megawatts. The next one up is a gas power plant, which produces up to 250, but as you can see, it's quite expensive. I think what I'm going to need to do here, guys, is just go big and plop a large, or I guess just a regular coal power plant, which can produce up to 300 megawatts. So that should actually take our electricity trade into the positive, and we should actually be able to make money off of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a suitable location for a coal power plant. Of course, this is a fairly large building, so I'm going to want to plop it somewhere on the outskirts of the city. Unfortunately, the trade-off with these power plants is it creates a ton of air pollution and noise pollution and ground pollution. So it's definitely not the most green solution, but I think bang for buck, it should be pretty good, because out of every power plant that I have access to right now, it seems to be the best one. I could plop a nuclear power plant, but I don't think I can justify the extra 500k a month. But it would produce 750 megawatts of power. So I think as a temporary solution, I'm going to go with the coal power plant for now. And maybe in the future, we'll put a nuclear power plant. So let's just try to find a suitable spot here. I'm thinking what I want to do with this power plant is I want to put it somewhere near a rail connection, because we're going to be importing a ton of coal, and I just want it to be in a good spot to be able to do that. Actually, maybe over here would be a good spot near this lake. Yeah, because this coastline is quite jagged. Over here is quite flat and it's near a rail connection. Let me just browse quickly here through the whole map to see if we can find a spot. There would be over here near Auburn, but there's not really any good rail connections except... maybe over here actually would be pretty good. I'm gonna have to sacrifice this groundwater if I do choose this location, but yeah, it is pretty flat. And we do have rail running right beside it, so I think this is our spot right over here, guys. I'm gonna go for it. Now, I don't want to put this building directly onto this 4-lane road, so I am going to build a 2-lane road that goes out a little bit in this direction. And then let's go ahead and plop the power plant right here. Boom, there we go. Now, let's hook this up to the rest of the system. Going to take some high voltage power lines and run them across the map. Oh, am I gonna have to buy another tile? Or maybe I don't need to. Maybe I can scooch my way through the back here. Here, let's do this. And then we'll run our high voltage power lines up to the highway. And then from here, I am going to follow the highway to... let's see here. I got some high voltage power lines going underground here. Oh yeah, because I have some batteries. Can I hook these up? Why is this not working? That's a little weird, but anyways, let's run some high voltage power lines under the roads here. All right, and let's go above ground from this point on. There, bam. We're now hooked up to the rest of the city. And I think what I'll do on top of that is I'm going to keep these power lines going, following the highway out to the outskirts of the map. So we're going to be able to import power into the city, although I already had a connection going out in this direction, but it's okay. I think now we'll be able to import power from 2 different spots, and plus it'll give us a little bit of load balancing as well. So has that instantly fixed our issue? Well, not yet. I gotta unpause the game, of course. But let's see what's gonna happen here. Instantly, a lot of these power shortages have disappeared. However, I am dealing with a ton of electrical bottlenecks. So yeah, I'm really not sure what's going on, guys. If you guys want to shed some light on why my city is importing so much electricity when I'm producing more than enough, please do so. Let me know down in the comments. I'm sure somebody knows what's going on here. I must be missing something, but yeah, I would really appreciate some insight on that. And with that, I am going to be wrapping up this episode. So we've dealt with the more pressing issues, and in the coming episodes, I'm going to have to focus on all the little issues that seem to be plaguing the city right now. You know, I have some garbage piling up for some reason. But mainly, I'm going to be focusing the next little while on fixing the dire economic situation that the city finds itself in. So right now, we're losing 12 million a month. But thankfully, we have over $1 billion in the bank. So this is going to provide us with a little bit of a cushion as things stabilize. I think I'm just going to start to expand the city quite a fair bit to get some more tax dollars. But on top of that, I'm really going to have to start min-maxing with my tax rates, maybe some service fees, things like that. So really, really exciting stuff, guys. I'm really happy that we're gonna have to get into the nitty-gritty portion of the game to try to manage our budget. So super exciting stuff. Can't wait to get into it. So again, guys, that'll be it for today. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this episode as usual. And as usual, if you enjoyed watching this episode, drop a like down below. Don't forget to drop a comment as well. Let me know what you think. And certainly don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of future uploads. Again, I thank you so much for watching, guys, and take care. I'll see you in the next one.